Hi guys, and welcome to another IBM BPM technical tutorial. In this video, what I want to show us is how to use the new IBM bpmDEV GitHub Center in order to download and use assets maintained there. So you've probably heard that there's a new mechanism at IBM, developer.ibm.com/bpm, where you can find existing assets and download them for use. So if we drill in here into these asset repositories, and we say we search all assets, what we do is we enter a DevOps services environment, which is basically an IBM GitHub kind of environment, and we can pick an artifact, and we can drill into that artifact, and we can read all about it. We can read the documentation on it, and if we want, we can check it out through a Git environment. Now, I'm not going to try and explain what Git is here. I'm going to give you a recipe on how to use it. So basically, think of it simplistically like this. IBM maintains a source code control system known as Git, which is maintained on the internet at an IBM location. You can go to each of these projects, you can read about them, you can see whether or not you're interested in them, and if you are, you can check them out, as in literally check them out, take a copy of them, using a Git client. So Git is this open source code control system mechanism. Now, there are a number of Git clients out there. Personally, the one that I like to use is the one which is built into Eclipse. So that's what I'm going to illustrate what we use here. I've got an Eclipse workspace with nothing at all in it, so we're starting from scratch. I've created a folder called Git, although it doesn't have to be called Git, which is where the Git source will be stored, and I can launch my Eclipse environment using this new Eclipse workspace. Now, I'm using the basic Eclipse environment. This one is the latest one called Luna. I happen to have the JavaScript and Web Tools plugins installed on it, though I don't think those are necessary at all. So once we've opened up our Eclipse environment, I can go to my File, Import perspective. And in File Import, this is where we normally import artifacts into Eclipse. Notice that one of the entries is called Git. And I can open that up and I can say import a project from Git. So I go to the next button, and it now asks me, do you want to use an existing local repository, which assumes that we've already downloaded the project from Git, or do we want to create a local shadow of our Git from a URI? That's what we want. So we want to select Clone URI. We hit the next button. Now we've got all of this detail in front of us which we have to fill in. Gosh, that's a little bewildering. But if we look back over here at the IBM bpmDEV website, on each project there's a link over here called the Git URL. And if I click on that link, copy that link into my clipboard, and then come over and paste that in the URI, what happens is all the fields are filled in for us, or at least all the fields we need. So we go to our DevOps project, we copy the URL, we say done. We hit the next button. The Eclipse environment now contacts that Git provider, looks for the branches, which are basically the tracks of code out there. There should only be one, the master branch. We click next again. And now it's asking us where on our local file system we wish to copy the source code. Now, my personal choice is to create this partner folder called Git in the same directory where my Eclipse workspace is. I now copy that Git URL, that path URL, and I paste that in my Git import in Eclipse. I hit the next button. It now asks us, do you want to import this project into this directory? We say yes. We say yes again. And now what has happened is the Eclipse environment has contacted the Git repository owned by the IBM company, provided by the IBM, and has downloaded a copy of all the artifacts in that project into your new project locally on Eclipse. Changing them here will not necessarily change them on the server. You don't have to worry about that. And from here, you've now downloaded all the artifacts. You can browse them, or for example, in this case, you can say I want to run it, so open it in a web browser, and you can now play with those artifacts. You can now run them. And that's it. That's really what I wanted to say about using the Git environment at IBM. Find a project you're interested in, open an Eclipse environment, go to your File menu, File Import, import a project from Git. It will ask you to clone a new URI, get the URI from the IBM DevOps Web Services web page where the asset can be found, paste that in here, complete the dialog, and voila, you will find that the artifacts are now locally copied into your workspace, ready for usage, examination, or editing. I hope you found this useful. I look forward to building more of these presentations for you in the future. Thanks now. Bye-bye.